Hi, this is Derek with MostInterestingLife.com. I'm back from Costa Rica, where I was for about a week. It was an awesome time, Puerto Vida. And I'm making one of my pre-gym videos. So today's video is called Why Our Lives Today Are Awful, Boring, and Unfulfilling. Now, the world we live in has so many resources. It has so many tools available to us. It has, we have so much food, water, shelter, clothing than any time in history. There's, you're less likely to die of a violent death than any other time in history also, even though the news may try to make you feel differently. We have so much information available. We have technology. And yet, it seems that people are less happy than they've ever been with their lives. And why is this? So today I'm talking about 9 reasons why this is. The first one is diet. The diets we eat today are not what we're meant to eat. They're full of sugar, bad fats, salts, too much salt, different hormones especially. A lot of food companies do whatever they can to make food cheaply that tastes good to the consumer while not caring about the nutritional value. So a lot of people are filling up on fast food and sodas and just all sorts of things that are really terrible for them. And this alters our neurochemistry. It alters how we feel. It alters how we think. It affects our bodies. And a big reason why you might be feeling just all around awful and not have energy to live an interesting life is very likely at least somewhat has to do with diet. So, of course, for your health, for your mental well-being, for just enjoying life altogether, our diets today for the average person are awful. So look to fix this. Number 2, gender roles. Now, let me start by saying that everybody should be their own person. If somebody is gay or if a girl's a tomboy or whatever, and be who you are. However, modern societies today, especially a lot of Western societies, are sort of messing up gender roles. They're teaching little boys not to be boys. They're teaching little girls to not be girly if they want. I mean, things shouldn't be forced on kids, but on the same level, kids shouldn't be reprimanded for being who they are too, to the extent that if a boy wants to be a boy and act a little masculine, that's natural. That's how we're meant to be. That's how we're evolved to be. As long as nobody's hurting anybody else, it shouldn't be looked down upon for a guy to be masculine, and a woman shouldn't be looked at as being small-minded if she embraces being feminine. And it seems that today is a large push by certain parts of society to make things gender neutral, and this isn't natural. Again, if somebody is just naturally kind of gender neutral, or they are how they are, that's great for them, but on average this isn't how it's meant to be. And this has led to a lot of the problems we have in male-female interactions, where people are unsatisfied with relationships. You see, a lot of the reasons why women are unsatisfied is guys aren't acting like guys anymore. And a lot of men just are unsatisfied because the women are dominating the relationships. On average, this shouldn't happen. Again, everyone is different, but this has led to a lot of relationship problems today, and it's a big reason why divorce rates are so high. It's because people being forced to be different than how they might naturally be. So that's number 2 on this. Number 3 is entitlement. People, especially in the United States, people just feel entitled just because they're born and just because they're around. They feel that they deserve all the products they see on TV. They deserve to have everything given to them. They don't feel like they have to work for anything. They don't want to pay attention in school. They don't want to work on their job and actually do hard work. They don't want to learn things. They don't want to improve themselves. They feel like they should just have everything given to them. And when everything is not given to them, they feel extremely dissatisfied and they feel that life is unfair. But the real culprit here is that they feel entitled and they don't feel like that they need to contribute or improve themselves or to learn. Most people stop reading books after they graduate high school or college and they don't have to read books anymore. Most people look to do the bare minimum because they feel that they're entitled to get everything that they want in life. And again, this leads to a very unfulfilling life. So avoid the entitlement feeling. We're happiest when we're actually working towards things, when we accomplish goals, when we're out there sweating and working hard. This leads to just overall the best happiness. Going back to gender roles, I meant to talk about also, and this relates to diet, just the hormones in our food. Testosterone levels for men are dropping to record low levels. Over decades, you could see that each year, testosterone levels in men are dropping. Again, this is because of plastic bottles. It's because the plastics in the bottles leach into let's say things like water bottles and foods that act like estrogens. Hormones in the food are affecting both men and women. Let's say you eat a regular conventional beef hamburger. Usually those cows are injected with all sorts of hormones to get them plump really fast. So I just wanted to mention that before moving on. Number 4 on this list is smartphone addiction. People today are addicted to their smartphones. I mean, I love my smartphone. I love having GPS. I love having unlimited information available. I love being able to contact people wherever, whenever I want. A lot of people don't like that, but if I don't want to answer my phone, I just don't answer my phone. Simple as that. If somebody wants to force you to answer your phone, you need to reflect upon that relationship with that person and think of why they feel like they should be able to control you like that. You need to communicate things differently with people and set their expectations. So I love having a phone. I remember when I was a little kid having to wait for a phone call to come in and saying, I can't leave the house. I'm waiting for one of my friends to call me. It's terrible. For me, it's liberating to have a cell phone, but people abuse this. People's minds are just so used to the constant stimulation of their phone that their attention spans are dropping. They're not really living in the moment. If I go out at night and go to a club or a bar, I'll see some girls are just spending the whole night taking pictures. Instead of living their actual life, they're living through this filter of their phone. They're living through a small phone screen. And that seems like a really small life rather than experiencing the sights and the sounds and the feelings around you. So today, a lot of people are addicted to their phones. And you'll see, I check my phone regularly, but I try to keep that to be a small portion of my day. If I'm having dinner, I'll look at my phone every once in a while, but the majority of my time is not spent on my phone. So I think the idea behind this is to have the right balance, to use your phone as a tool, keep it as a way to be connected in ways that make you feel good, but not have it hijack your brain. And this happens to a lot of people, and it's getting worse every year. So smartphone addiction is a real thing, but make sure that it doesn't control your life, because it just overall it fries your brain and it makes your life less interesting and just keeps you out of the moment. Number 5 in this list is a lack of purpose. We are only really happy when we have true purpose in our lives. And today, people don't really have a purpose. Most people aren't passionate about their jobs. They don't really have large goals that they're working for. A lot of their purposes are just very surface level. They like to eat, watch TV, and be lazy. That sums up a lot of it. So have a large purpose. Really have goals that excite you, that keep you going, because if you don't have large goals, you're not going to have an interesting life. You're not going to achieve much, and you won't feel fulfilled. You won't feel happy. It won't be a satisfying life. So really know what you want, have purpose, and be working towards real strong purposes and goals in your life. Number 6 is laziness. This sort of goes back to the entitlement one, where people just want to do the bare minimum, and they want to avoid all sorts of work, for example. And for example, with this, most people don't like to do hard work where they're sweating. They don't want to get out there and get dirty. So I'll be talking about 3 types of work. This is the first one, and this can be one of the most satisfying types of work, though. When you're getting your body physically engaged and exhausted. I mean, when it snows, I kind of like shoveling snow sometimes just because of the hard work that's involved, and it's a little different than the normal sort of work that I'll do. I mean, I go to the gym and stuff, and I look to be physically active, but there's just a great feeling of just getting out there, sweating, and doing hard work. And this should not be something that's avoided. Maybe it shouldn't be your main profession if it's not something you entirely enjoy, but don't be afraid to get your hands dirty in certain things and to get projects done. The second type of work that you shouldn't avoid all work. Again, you shouldn't look to just be as lazy as possible. Is you should have stuff that you're passionate about, that you could be successful in. This goes back to the whole idea of purpose, where having passion, focus, and a purpose leads to real enjoyment. You should like work. You should like certain types of work. And you should be passionate about certain type of work. If you don't have work that you like, you're not really going to have fulfillment in life. True happiness is not just sitting on beaches all day drinking pina coladas. That gets old really quick. It's good to do sometimes and to have a balance, but true happiness is when you have purpose and you're really engaged with something and working on something passionately. Now, the third type of work, and this type I think should be avoided in the long run, is just the dissatisfying type of work. Let's say if you have a job you don't like, or if you have certain sort of busy work. Busy work eventually in your life should be delegated to other people. And you yourself, you should be doing stuff, you should be working stuff that you enjoy rather than this third type of work that most people are in, where they just dread going to work. They're looking forward to their weekends. They're looking forward to a few hours when they get home. So laziness, people are looking to avoid the type of work that they used to. And this turns out to encompass all sorts of work, which includes not working towards things that they're passionate towards. Most people don't like to work out and exercise, which is sort of like the gritty type of work, which also actually leads to more satisfaction. So look not to be lazy. Look to be passionate about things and to find work that you like, find goals that you like. Being in shape should be a goal. Having financial independence should be a goal. Maybe helping other people, living an interesting life, like we always talk about here, having adventure. Don't look to avoid all work. Don't look to embrace laziness. Look to find things that excite you. Number 7 is lack of social connection. People are healthiest in happiness when they have friends, when they have family that they're engaged with. And I know in the United States what happens a lot is that people they'll graduate high school, college, get a job, then they look to get married, have kids, and they hold themselves up into a house, and just the men aren't hanging out with guy friends, the women aren't hanging out with women friends. And this is a shame, because part of the joys of life is just our social engagement with others. And you can't really replace that for men or women just by living in your little house and having maybe a little social engagement at work, at a job that you're doing. It's very important to have the social interactions. So make sure you do this. And so modern day life, a lot of people, they don't do this. They work, they come home, and they hold themselves in their house, and they're not having the engagement that they should. People should look to do stuff like this at least once a week to have just a healthy, well-balanced life. Number 8 is a lack of connection to nature. In modern life, it's very easy just to, especially if you live in a city or some suburb somewhere, not to be connected to nature. And you sort of forget about this unless you actually go to a park or a beach or something. So look to have balance. We're naturally meant to engage with nature, to feel connected with nature, to have our bare feet on the ground, to get sun, to feel the wind, to see the sky. We're not meant to be holed up in a little office and holed up into a house that's insulated completely from the outdoors. So again, try to spend some time in nature. Even just 5-10 minutes in a park is better than nothing. And again, we're meant for this. We're not meant to live in these dark little offices and homes that don't have natural light. And number 9, this doesn't have to pertain to everybody, but A lot of people are dissatisfied with life because of a lack of a spiritual connection, lack of spiritual beliefs, just lack of a bigger picture. And you don't have to join some religion or something like that if it doesn't agree with you, but just try to ask the bigger questions in life. You could do this from a scientific standpoint. You could just do this from you want to help people out, but really look to step back from the day to day. I always recommend studying different spiritual systems, because maybe the Christianity or whatever you were raised with never really clicked with you. Maybe Buddhism or Taoism does. A lot of these things do have similarities. Most of the large spiritual studies in life, they have a lot of similarities between each other if you really look into them, and just find what connects to you and what's natural to you. Because people that have deep spiritual beliefs tend to have more life satisfaction. They tend to feel better about life. So those are it. Those are 9 big things. If I was to add a 10th thing, I would say fear. Everyone's afraid of things. The news, I wrote an article about this. The news is always trying to scare you. I've seen this horror movies about pretty much about visiting every country that you could go to. There was Hostel about Europe. There was this Touristas movie about Brazil. Every show and movie is trying to scare you. Almost everyone. But don't embrace fear. Decisions made out of fear are usually the wrong ones. They'll lead to this awful, boring, unfulfilling life I'm talking about. And the type of life that most people want, you really should want, a life of growth, passion, excitement, is a life that is based upon things that drive you forward, as opposed to avoiding things you're afraid of. So that's it. This has been a little bit of a longer video. That's pretty much all I had to say. Give this video a like, a comment, subscribe to this channel, visit my site, mostinterestinglife.com. And until next time, stay interesting.